So in regards to being on set, being on camera, people think, oh, it's so glamorous. It must be like the ideal life. And not really. You have really very hot lights that you're sweating under, and then you have thick makeup usually that is beginning to run as little beads begin to form. And then you're just waiting for the scene to be over, and then the makeup artist comes, blots you, does your powder, and you're ready to go again. And in the meantime, it is scene after scene, take after take, where you have to hit your marks, where you have to do your performance. And so it is in real life, we just talk, we just engage. And with filmmaking, it's almost like ETs on a bad day where you're paused, go, and you're and you're on, only your observer does it right, and then you're back in the slower garment going about your day. Well, film and TV is really like that. It's like that. It's cut. Let's do it again. And all of this, right? This is all this grand orchestrated production that you sit in, are given lines to memorize. You become the actor, you become the performer that is delivering those lines, and you have to be as realistic as possible. It's really your life. And then it translates on camera to be realistic, to be real, riveting. So you watch these productions and it's very, very real, and you get drawn into the story. And yet it is all fiction, it is all this magic of Hollywood. So it is a craft that is intense study in order to prepare to not be self conscious on camera, to be able to articulate, to be able to speak, to be able to hit your marks, to be able to follow direction, to be able to be versatile in the emotional instrument, to play all kinds of characters, all kinds of emotions, to be able to withstand grueling schedules, sometimes up to 18, 20 hours of filming, where you are on set for that long if they're going overtime. So that's on a really long day. So it is something that is not for all people, because it isn't a regular 9 to 5, and you have to be there, even if you're exhausted and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You have to be fresh for a scene. You have to override everything, all of your biology, in order to really be present. So it isn't for everyone. You see, the result is so fantastic, and it looks so slick and so good, which is the magic of Hollywood, with Edit Bay, with the cinematographers, with directors, producers, everything creating a glorious package for the public. That when you look at it, of course, you cannot see all the things that I spoke of, because it is something that is part of the craft in the filming. It goes to Edit Bay and it is cut to perfection, edited to perfection, so that it looks that seamless. So when people want to be famous, they don't realize what they're getting into, and that you have to study and you have to do all of these things for that craft. Memorize all of your lines, everything, whole screen, the whole movie, all of your lines memorized, so that you can basically walk and be this character, you see? So it is an art form, it is a craft that takes study. Most of us have studied somewhere professionally in order to be able to do it. And I did as well for 8 years, I believe, uh, on camera film training I took in Vancouver. And there's a lot to know. So it isn't just, I hope they discover me so I can be famous in the movies. It's very hard work, more difficult than your average 9 to 5 job, much more difficult, much more intense. Wild, crazy schedules. You could go for 30 auditions and not land a single role, and you have to make time for that. And if you have a regular job, well, if they call you, you have to go or you'll miss the audition. So it means juggling work hours, juggling your life, and then 30 auditions later you don't get it and you quit. Well, if you don't, then you go for another 5 or 10. You might get a small part or a commercial finally or something, and then you have it. But it is like the lottery, really, in terms of becoming famous from film and television. And well, someone said that's why they have the boats for it. Uh-huh. The boats are for my career because I wrote 50 movies and Luna Teleplay, they said, from Starlight's boats. Then there's other productions that they approved that they up top in Hollywood and some in New York City. And that is what they are for. And I've studied, trained, and written. So I have skill. So the boats are not there to push new people without any talent or skill to be famous movie stars. Um, and that is why people should not mess up transmitter lines, because if they're transmitting to real actors, actresses, and people about auditions, things coming up, and someone in community hears it, you have these crazy people who think that they're going to be discovered and made famous. And we're very sorry, but that is irresponsible behavior by some of the uh, problems we've had in the skies. And it is not going to happen. It is a blatant abuse of the ships and the resources that they have for people in industry, myself included, uh, who, because I have made contacts in those places with very high level people who know about my work. Um, and, that's my business with them, not really the public's. However, it's there, and there's really nothing to prove to anyone because the results will be I have a YouTube movie channel. I'm getting harassed about this real time that someone said on Transmitter, prove it. Well, I have Ariana's new movie pre trailer info YouTube channel. You're welcome to look at that. It has information about my upcoming projects. And there are people quitting dance classes, all this and all that. In fact, I would quit. You're not going to be made famous, discovered by spaceships, kind of sweetening the pot on some producer, who's dragged to find your child. We've had enough of that kind of thing, and we don't want it anymore. So please be careful what you are doing to the Hollywood industry and to people who are professionals by thinking your child is going to get discovered. In order for your child to get discovered, the child has to go to its schooling and to have an agency represented to audition for parts. Okay, that is how you get into the business. It isn't saying we have boats to make our community people or children famous. Is a misunderstanding by the public from mismanagement of some of the spacecraft that should be stopped immediately, because Hollywood is a very, very important part of our culture. We have a lot of very good TV shows, movies, even online. It is fabulous. The selection now of international cinema, international TV shows that are available on different channels like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, and a lot of different other showcases still there. Uh, well, uh, a lot of them. So a lot of different ones, Showtime, and there's a lot of different things as well as rentals and cinema. So it's a very big industry. It isn't going away. Someone said on Transmitter they wish it would. Well, Americans and Canadians and other people in the world come home, they turn on the television and have their rentals. So I don't think it's really going to go away. And the person commenting is in the minority because we all participate, most of us anyway. And it's poor attitude and lack of appreciation for some of the stunning cinema and educational programming that they even show at school. The people are having that attitude. So we would like some of them not to cling to the spacecraft like they're some sort of voter on the topic, because it's already been decided by the Andromedans what they will support, and it's already done. This is where community boats running, you are flexing your muscles too much and are exerting too much power over people who are harassed, bothered, and given the runaround for little community people who don't have a vote on this. It was decided by the Andromedan Council because it's their spaceships. If you don't like it, you can turn off your television. You don't have to participate. But don't get angry that your child isn't going to get famous now and you're going to have a little pouting session over it. Okay? So there's a lot more important people in the world that have trained, put money and time and hours into the film and television industry. would like to go ahead with their projects so that your child can have a nice day on the weekend at the movies and see something of high quality, not be tormented whether it's going to be a little movie star or not, to satisfy parents who might have some sort of narcissistic complex with the child pushing it to be famous when they weren't able to and had a fantasy about it. That happens a lot as well. Child pageants are about that and they're cruel. So, what I would say is be realistic about what you expect from um, uh, uh, fantasies about becoming famous and discovered, because people like me don't deserve to be attacked to say, well, prove it, and are you for real, or this or that. I have work online that shows what work I have, and I have contacts and connections and people that are confidential. I don't discuss that. That's my business and theirs. And the rest of the public, please be realistic and respectful of the industry, because there's been some bawling, bashing, and unpleasantness, and it spoils it for the other movie ticket goers who love the cinema, love TV land, and are very, very grateful for the projects that we provided for them. Helps them relieve stress at the end of the day, and to have some nice, high quality entertainment. So, everybody else, you better behave, all right? You're not here to get discovered at the expense of the rest of us. Thank you.